Mr. Speaker, there is no higher national security priority than preventing a nuclear-armed Iran. Foreign Affairs Ranking Member Engel and I have worked closely in a bipartisan way to bring this legislation to the floor, and we do it with the unanimous support of the members of the Foreign Affairs Committee, all Democrats and all Republicans on that committee. And indeed, 375 members of the House are co-sponsors of this legislation. And that's the broad recognition that exists right now that more needs to be done to stop Iran's nuclear program, which is a danger not only to us in the United States, but certainly to the region and to the world. Today we act with that sense of urgency. Urgency because Iran's march to nuclear weapons continues. And in less than 2 years, the International Atomic Energy Agency has told us that they have doubled in Iran, doubled the installed centrifuges at the facilities at Natanz and Fordo. They've doubled those from 8,500 to more than 15,700 centrifuges, and these new centrifuges, many of them are 5 times more powerful. They spin much faster than those earlier models. A key facility is buried deep below a mountain, and Iran continues to stonewall the IAEA on its development of nuclear explosive devices. So Iran's intent to develop this weapons capability is very evident. New president in Iran or not, I am convinced that Iran's supreme leader intends to continue on this path because that is what he says he intends to do. And that is, unless sanctions bite to the point where the regime has to make a choice between compromise on this nuclear weapons program or the consequences of the sanctions on the regime. And that is why this legislation dramatically steps up the pressure on the regime in Iran. It targets the energy sector by compelling countries that are currently purchasing oil from Iran to reduce their collective total by 1 million barrels per day within a year. It targets additional sectors of Iran's economy. It further denies the regime access to foreign currency reserves. It effectively targets Iran's efforts to circumvent international sanctions against the shipping sector in the country. And equally important, this legislation increases sanctions against Iranian human rights abusers, making clear that it's the Iranian people that we are siding with. Only when the Iranian leadership truly feels a choice between maintaining power and obtaining the bomb does our democracy have a chance to succeed. And we know the Iran regime's view of the world. We know it only too well because its support of keeping the brutal Assad regime in power is self-evident. It has resupplied Hezbollah with 25,000 new rockets which target Israel. In recent years, there have been Iranian-sponsored attacks or plots uncovered by the Europeans in Bulgaria, also in India, Thailand, in Georgia, in Azerbaijan, in Cyprus, in Kenya, and even here in Washington, D.C. I'd hate to see an Iran emboldened by a nuclear weapon. But that is the course we are on unless we dramatically step up the pressure. So let's pass this bill. I reserve the balance of my time, Mr. Speaker.